Alright, this is part 2 of my online behavior video in my Computer Security for Poker Players series. I'm Funky Worms, and let's get started. So, as I told you before, most people, they get some file they can't play on their computer, so they say, I need something to convert MP3 to something, WAV, and you get this random domains, convert MP3 to WAV, MP3 converter. I mean, and the further down you go, it seems the more sketchy they're going to get, but even the top results, in my opinion, are fairly sketchy. So this is not the way to go about this. The best way, well, there's a few ways. There's a great site called osalt.com. It's the open source alternatives website. It's a huge database that has open source alternatives to popular commercial software. So, for example, if we go to click GIMP here. So GIMP is the GNU image manipulation program. It's a free and open source alternative to Photoshop, and it has many of the features of Photoshop. But we wanted to find something to convert MP3 to WAV, and we can look on here, and most likely we will be able to find a program that can do it. The green ones are open source, and the red ones are commercial software. But OSAlt is mostly for if you know a commercial program that you like, you can find the open source alternative to it. But in addition to finding the open source alternative to commercial software, you can also find related open source programs. If you know an open source program you like, you can find some spin-offs. Maybe the open source program you like has official development has ceased, and you can find maybe someone has picked it up and renamed it, or you can find a better player. So that's OSAlt. It's a great way to find high quality software. Probably the grandfather of open source software repositories is sourceforge.net, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow scripts to run on SourceForge, so we get the full functionality of the site. It's a site I fully trust. So we say MP3 to WAV here. And of course, we're going to get Audacity, which is a very great open source audio editor. Could do what you want to, but it might be too complicated for some people. For such a task as converting MP3 to WAV, I would recommend WinLame. It's really a very easy to use program and supports MP3, OGG, FLAC. So OSAlt and SourceForge are great places to go if you're looking for software. But even if you find software at one of these sites, check when the latest file release was. And check when the project was registered. When the project was registered lets you know how mature the project is. When the latest file release was lets you know whether the project is in active development or not. I mean, some projects are still considered in active development even though they may have had their latest release in 2008 or 2007. If it's just a single guy working on it, it can be a long time between releases. also, you can look at the downloads. 64 million people, Audacity's been downloaded 64 million times, and it's well known as a very mature, stable, open source project. But even if you find something on here on SourceForge and you're still unsure about it, ask someone who is a computer expert, namely myself, if the program has a good reputation, and do some research. You have to remember that anything you install on your computer has full access to everything on your computer. So you really should be trusting everything that you install on your computer, fully, I guess is the best way to describe it, because even though this program says what it is, they could do really whatever they wanted to your computer. Granted, these are open source projects, so you can actually see the source code for these programs. But for the closed source projects, you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes of the program, and they can literally do whatever they want to your system, and there's really nothing you can do to stop it once you've installed the program. So be very, very careful about what you install on your computer. I see people that have, I can just tell that they've installed all sorts of different programs without regard of the program's reputation, and inevitably those people end up with extremely slow, bogged down computers, or they end up with lots of malware on their system. So OSAlt and SourceForge, excellent places to find great open source and high quality software. And if you're still can't find what you want, or you don't trust the reputation of a certain piece of software, ask an expert for a recommendation. Alright, that concludes my online behavior videos. If you have any questions, post a comment or a question in the thread.